You take that sheet of paper and you basically hang it on your wall. At the end, you do not want to memorize the letters. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, I want to thank you guys so much for all the views and all the likes I've been getting on the channel, and I'm really excited to do this video. Today is going to be all about how to memorize formulas. So I know we have some science students in the house, so we're going to learn how to memorize formulas together today. And as usual, I'll be counting up from 5 to 1. So from the least important because all the tips here are top notch, to the most crucial and essential one. And if you're ready for that, then let's get to it immediately. Starting up with step 5, which is to study the content. So we don't want to fall into the mistake that a lot of us make, which is just learning the formulas. So basically, the reason why we are going to study our notes before we get into learning the formulas is because at the end, you do not want to memorize the letters. You actually want to know what these letters stand for. And you have to have a good understanding of your book for you to have that knowledge. So you have to study your notes and understand them before learning the formulas. So basically, you don't mix up T that stands for temperature as T that stands for time, or T that stands for time as T that stands for period. If you're a physics student, you know that such mix-up can be especially devastating to your end results. So once you have a full understanding of your topic, it's time to actually get into memorizing the formulas. And one thing that I do that has really helped me is summarizing your entire notes on a single sheet of paper, but you're not writing the explanation because you learned the explanation, okay? So what you want to write now are the formulas. And one thing you should do is actually learn the formulas and then write it on this sheet of paper. Because once you learn the formulas and you kind of store it up in your memory, because you know that you're going to transfer it to this sheet of paper, so you actually learn it actively and you actually don't want to make mistakes on that sheet of paper. I actually did this when I was studying for WAEC, and I summarized like my entire, I think, SS2 first term into a single sheet of paper, and I'm still doing that even to today. So I just summarize all the formulas that I've learned. Just go through your notes and take out all the formulas and write it. So you have like this first glance view of everything that you need to learn, and it actually kind of shortens your work and kind of makes your heart not beat as fast when you think about learning it, because your mind is just like, oh, it's just this sheet of paper, and once I go through it, that's it, I'm done with this. Number 3, you probably know as a physics student that memorizing the formulas is not enough. You have the formulas already in your head, but when it comes to practicing it, maybe you know the formula, but it's not just adding up in the question. So when you're given a question and you already know this is the formula to use for this question, but somehow when you use the formula, it's not adding up. So that is why you should do more practice questions. So practice questions, especially past questions, really give you the scenario in which these things are used. And sometimes terms that we think are like, this is what is called, velocity is called velocity. Sometimes in the question, it might not exactly be called velocity. They might use like the literal definition of velocity, and that's another reason why you should master the material. So instead of velocity, you might be given time rate change of displacement, or distance moved with time in a specific direction. And if you don't know the meaning of velocity, as an example, you will not be able to put that formula in there and to know what they're really asking you for. So you need to practice these questions to put you in that scenario and to learn like different terms and terminologies that are going to be used throughout the examination for them to like test your knowledge on this. So if you have time, which you do, please do a lot of practice questions as much as you can to get yourself ready. Now you have the formula, you've learned the material, and you're doing practice questions. The next thing is for you to actually, that's why I said write it in a sheet of paper. You take that sheet of paper and you basically hang it on your wall, and you want it to be the first thing you see when you wake up. And I hung it on my wall once, and I literally did not take enough time to look at it. So if you're going to hang it on your wall, you actually have to take out time. Maybe you can discipline yourself to say, okay, I will look at this every morning I wake up. I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to try to recall everything that I wrote here. So that's what you should do. Actually make the effort to hang it on your wall and look through it every morning or afternoon or anytime you're free. Don't just put it as decoration. And the final and first tip, which I always continue to emphasize, which is just to be consistent. So you've learned all these things, you've done all these things, but like I said, if you don't look through it, if you don't practice it, you'll forget it by the time examination comes along, and you start learning it again afresh. So what you should do is consistently try to recall, consistently try to remember and revise everything that you've learned, because they're going to come in handy and it's going to work out at the end if you do that. But if you leave it for like a while, by the time you're coming back to it, it will feel very foreign to you, which is not exactly what you want. You want to have full mastery of your books before the exam rolls by. So subscribe, turn on notifications, because I'm going to be posting that video next. And yeah, bye. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, and I hope you have success in your examinations.